Ladies and gentlemen, a woman of God does not chase men. She does not beg for attention. She does not compromise her values, and she does not lower her standards to keep someone in her life. No, sir. Because she understands something powerful. What God has for her will never require her to beg, chase, or plead. See, there are three things about a woman of God that make her stand firm. First, she knows her worth. She ain't sitting around waiting for a man to validate her. She doesn't need his texts, his compliments, or his attention to feel good about herself. Why? Because she wakes up every morning knowing she is already loved. By God, by herself, and by the people who truly matter. She understands she was fearfully and wonderfully made, and that means she is not out here auditioning for a man's approval. Second, she has standards that don't shake. Listen to me. If a man wants to be in her life, he's got to come correct. He's got to come with purpose. She does not entertain half-hearted love, mixed signals, or a man who doesn't know what he wants. No, because she knows confusion is not from God. She's got boundaries and she holds them. If a man is not willing to pursue her the right way with integrity, respect, and clarity, then she is more than willing to let him go. And third, she trusts God's timing. Oh, this is the big one. See, a woman of God understands that love is not a race. She is not rushing, she is not chasing, she is not forcing anything that is not meant for her. She knows that desperation leads to disappointment, but faith leads to fulfillment. She believes that when the right man, the man God has prepared for her, comes along, she won't have to chase him. Because a real man of God, he'll step up, he'll recognize her value, and he will pursue her the way she deserves. So to every woman listening, hear me and hear me well. You do not have to chase a man to be loved. You do not have to fight for someone who is not fighting for you. Stand firm in your worth. Trust in God's plan. And remember, what is meant for you will always find its way to you, without you having to beg for it. Now go on and walk in your power. A woman of God understands that her worth is not defined by the opinions of others, the attention of a man, or the validation of society. She knows she was created with purpose, designed with intention, and crowned with dignity by the hands of the Almighty. Her value is not up for negotiation, nor is it something that can be diminished by rejection or disappointment. She carries herself with confidence, not arrogance, but with the quiet assurance that she is enough just as she is. She refuses to settle because she knows that anything forced, rushed, or compromised will never bring true fulfillment. She does not entertain relationships that require her to shrink, silence herself, or become someone she is not just to be accepted. She does not confuse loneliness with love, nor does she mistake attention for affection. She understands that a man who truly values her will see her worth without her having to prove it, and he will treat her with the respect and honor she deserves. Her standards are not a barrier to love, but a reflection of her self-respect. She does not lower them for fear of missing out, nor does she abandon them when pressured by emotions. She knows that the right man will rise to meet them rather than ask her to compromise. She refuses to beg for love, chase after someone who is unsure about her, or settle for inconsistency. She believes in divine timing and trusts that what is meant for her will come without manipulation or desperation. Her confidence comes from her faith, her peace from her patience, and her strength from her unwavering belief in her own worth. She knows that true love aligns with God's plan, and anything less is not worth sacrificing herself for. She understands that love is not something to be rushed or forced, but something that unfolds in divine timing. She does not allow societal pressure, age, or external expectations to push her into relationships that are not aligned with God's plan. Instead, she waits with patience, knowing that what is meant for her will never pass her by. She refuses to settle for temporary comfort at the expense of her long-term joy, because she believes that God's best is worth the wait. Her faith is stronger than her fears. She does not let the fear of being alone drive her into the arms of the wrong person. She does not compare her journey to others, nor does she question her worth based on whether she is in a relationship or not. She understands that every season has a purpose, and if God has her in a season of waiting, it is for a reason. She uses that time to grow, to heal, to build, and to strengthen her relationship with Him, rather than chasing after love that is not meant for her. She has seen what happens when people rush into relationships out of impatience, and she refuses to make the same mistakes. She would rather be single and at peace than in a relationship that drains her, distracts her, or pulls her away from her purpose. She knows that when the right man comes, he will not bring confusion, chaos, or uncertainty. He will come with clarity, intention, and a heart that aligns with hers. She surrenders her desires to God, trusting that He knows what is best for her. She does not try to control the outcome, but walks in faith, knowing that at the right time, in the right way, and with the right person, everything will fall into place exactly as it should. She stands firm in who she is and what she believes, refusing to bend her principles for the sake of gaining someone's affection. She does not adjust her morals, her faith, or her identity to fit into a man's preferences because she knows that any love requiring her to compromise herself is not love at all. She understands that true love embraces her for who she is, not for who she pretends to be. She does not dress, speak, or act in ways that contradict her values just to attract attention. She does not water down her faith, weaken her convictions, or engage in behaviors that go against her beliefs just to be liked. She does not see relationships as a competition where she must outshine others or prove her worth through external means. She knows that the right man will be drawn to her spirit, her strength, and her unwavering commitment to her principles. She refuses to tolerate disrespect, dishonesty, or anything that conflicts with her standards. If a man expects her to cross boundaries she has set, she walks away without hesitation. She does not seek validation through compromise, nor does she entertain relationships that demand she sacrifice her dignity. She understands that love should uplift, not diminish, honor, not degrade, and bring peace, not conflict. Her confidence comes from within, not from external validation. She is content with being herself, knowing that the right man will see her value without her having to lower her standards. She trusts that a relationship built on truth, mutual respect, and shared faith will last far longer than one built on momentary approval. She stands strong in her beliefs because she knows that the love meant for her will never require her to lose herself. She does not rely on compliments, social media likes, or the attention of men to feel valuable. Her confidence is rooted in something far deeper, her faith. She knows that she was created with purpose, designed by God, and loved unconditionally, which means she does not need the world's approval to feel secure. She walks with assurance because her identity is not shaped by how others see her, but by how God sees her. She does not seek validation in relationships, status, or material things. She understands that external validation is fleeting, always changing, and never enough to fill the void that only God can fill. She refuses to measure her worth based on whether she is in a relationship, whether someone chooses her, or whether society deems her successful. She knows that her value is constant, unshaken by rejection, and unaffected by the opinions of those who do not see her worth. She carries herself with grace and dignity, not arrogance, but with the quiet strength of a woman who knows who she is. She is not easily discouraged by setbacks, nor is she swayed by the pressures to conform to worldly standards. She understands that true confidence is not about proving herself, but about standing firm in her faith, knowing that she is enough just as she is. She does not need to chase love, demand attention, or seek approval. She walks in confidence because she knows that she is already loved, chosen, and cherished by the one who matters most. Her faith gives her an unshakable foundation, allowing her to remain secure even in moments of uncertainty. No matter what life throws her way, she stands tall, knowing that her worth is found in God alone, not in the validation of people. She knows that love should never be forced, and a relationship should never feel like a chase. She understands that the right man, the one meant for her, will recognize her worth and pursue her with intention, clarity, and respect. She does not waste her time trying to convince a man to see her value, because she knows that the right one will see it without being persuaded. She refuses to play games, manipulate situations, or lower herself just to keep a man's attention. She does not believe in begging for time, affection, or commitment. If a man is inconsistent, unsure, or hesitant about her, she takes it as a sign that he is not the one God has for her. She does not chase after half-hearted love, because she knows that real love does not require her to prove herself. She understands that the right man will make his intentions known, eliminating confusion, doubt, and unnecessary heartache. She believes that a man who is truly serious about her will show it through his actions, not just his words. He will pursue her with respect, patience, and effort. He will be intentional about getting to know her, investing in the relationship, and honoring her boundaries. She does not have to wonder where she stands or question his feelings, because a man who truly values her will not keep her guessing. She carries herself with the confidence of a woman who knows she is worth being pursued. She does not need to chase, because she trusts that God will align her with the right man at the right time. Until then, she focuses on her own growth, her purpose, and her relationship with God, knowing that the right man will recognize her value and pursue her accordingly. She understands that her life is about more than just relationships and romance. She was created for a purpose, and she refuses to let the pursuit of love distract her from fulfilling the calling God has placed on her life. Instead of spending her time chasing after a man's attention, she invests in her spiritual growth, her personal development, and the work she has been entrusted with. She knows that when she is focused on her purpose, everything else, including the right relationship, will fall into place in God's perfect timing. She does not waste her energy worrying about whether she is single or when love will come. She sees her current season as an opportunity to build, to serve, and to grow. She pours into her passions, her career, her community, and her faith, knowing that her worth is not defined by her relationship status, but by the impact she makes in the world. She finds joy in her journey, refusing to let the desire for romance consume her thoughts or dictate her decisions. She trusts that the right man will come along when she is walking in her purpose, not when she is distracted by chasing love. She knows that God has a plan for her life, and she would rather be fully aligned with that plan than rush into a relationship that is not meant for her. She believes that true love should complement her purpose, not take her away from it. She remains patient and focused, knowing that the right man will see her dedication, her passion, and her strength. She does not have to chase him, because she is too busy chasing what God has called her to do. In her pursuit of purpose, she trusts that love will find her exactly where she is meant to be. She understands that peace is priceless, and no relationship is worth sacrificing her emotional, mental, or spiritual well-being. She refuses to entertain situations that bring stress, confusion, or insecurity, because she knows that love should not be chaotic or exhausting. She values stability, clarity, and respect, choosing to walk away from anything that disrupts her inner peace. She is not interested in proving her worth to someone who does not recognize it, nor does she hold on to relationships that require her to beg for attention or commitment. She does not operate from a place of desperation, because she knows that desperation leads to settling. She refuses to cling to relationships that are not serving her simply because she fears being alone. She is content in her own company, knowing that her happiness is not dependent on whether or not she is in a relationship. She trusts God's timing and plan, believing that what is meant for her will come without force or struggle. She guards her heart and emotions, making sure she is not placing her worth in the hands of someone who is unsure about her. She avoids chasing, pleading, or compromising her values just to keep a man around. She would rather be single and at peace than in a relationship filled with uncertainty, inconsistency, and emotional exhaustion. She carries herself with confidence, knowing that the right person will never require her to act out of desperation. She moves with patience and self-respect, believing that love should be mutual and freely given, not something she has to fight for. Her peace matters more than temporary companionship, and she will not sacrifice it for the sake of having someone by her side. She believes that love should be genuine, honest, and pure, not something that needs to be manipulated or forced. She refuses to play mind games, act out of pretense, or use manipulation to keep someone interested. She knows that if she has to scheme, overthink, or constantly strategize just to hold on to a man's attention, then the relationship is not built on a solid foundation. She values sincerity over performance and would rather be loved for who she truly is than for a version of herself that is crafted to impress. She does not believe in using jealousy, silence, or emotional manipulation to test someone's devotion. She does not engage in tactics that create insecurity or confusion because she understands that love should be clear and intentional, not filled with uncertainty. She does not entertain relationships where she has to guess someone's feelings or compete for affection. If a man's heart is divided, she steps away rather than lowering herself to fight for space in his life. She is secure enough in herself to know that the right man will choose her without her having to orchestrate the outcome. She does not rely on tricks, games, or false pretenses to make someone stay. She believes that real love is mutual and does not require deception or manipulation to thrive. She would rather wait for a love that is certain than settle for one that is built on insecurity and control. She trusts that honesty, authenticity, and faith will bring the right person into her life. She does not waste her time trying to control the narrative, nor does she fear losing someone who is not meant to be hers. She walks in truth, knowing that real love does not require manipulation. It flourishes in trust, respect, and genuine connection. She refuses to let the fear of being alone dictate her choices in love. Her faith is stronger than her fears, and she trusts that God's plan for her life is greater than any temporary loneliness she may feel. She does not rush into relationships just to fill a void or settle for someone who does not align with her values. Instead, she waits with confidence, believing that the right person will come at the right time. She knows that making decisions based on fear leads to regret, while making choices based on faith leads to fulfillment. She understands that being single is not a punishment, nor is it a reflection of her worth. She does not allow societal pressure, family expectations, or the opinions of others to push her into a relationship that does not serve her. She embraces her current season, using it to grow, build, and deepen her relationship with God. She knows that her happiness and peace do not depend on having a partner, but on being aligned with her purpose and faith. She does not hold on to unhealthy relationships out of fear that she will not find something better. She is willing to walk away from anything that does not bring her peace, because she believes that what God has for her will never require her to beg, force, or suffer. She does not let fear keep her in places she has outgrown, nor does she settle for half-hearted love just to avoid loneliness. She trusts that love should be an addition to her life, not the foundation of her self-worth. She moves with patience and confidence, knowing that God's timing is perfect. Her love life is built on faith, not desperation, and she refuses to let fear push her into something less than what she deserves. She knows that her standards and boundaries are not just preferences, but reflections of her self-respect. She does not set them to be difficult or demanding, but to ensure that she is treated with the love, honor, and dignity she deserves. She understands that bending her boundaries for the sake of pleasing others only leads to regret, disappointment, and emotional exhaustion. She stands firm in what she believes, refusing to lower her expectations just to accommodate someone who is unwilling to rise to them. She does not apologize for having high standards because she knows that a man who truly values her will respect them rather than try to break them. She does not entertain inconsistency, dishonesty, or disrespect, no matter how much she may care for someone. She understands that a love built on compromise of character is not real love at all. She would rather be alone with her integrity intact than in a relationship where she is constantly sacrificing her worth for the sake of keeping someone around. She sets boundaries not to push people away, but to protect herself from situations that could harm her spiritually, emotionally, or mentally. She knows that boundaries are not about control, but about maintaining self-respect and ensuring that the relationships in her life are healthy and aligned with her values. She does not allow pressure, loneliness, or emotions to make her cross lines she has drawn for her own well-being. She walks in confidence, knowing that the right man will not see her standards as a challenge, but as proof of her worth. She does not fear losing someone who cannot honor her boundaries because she believes that real love respects limits. She trusts that by standing firm, she will attract a relationship that is built on mutual respect, honor, and faith. She understands that before she can pour into a relationship, she must first pour into herself. She values growth in every area of her life, recognizing that a strong foundation in faith and emotional well-being is essential for a healthy relationship. She does not wait for a man to complete her because she knows that her wholeness comes from within, not from another person. She is intentional about becoming the best version of herself, not just for a future partner, but for her own fulfillment and purpose. She invests in her spiritual growth by seeking God daily, praying, and deepening her understanding of His Word. She knows that her faith is the anchor that keeps her steady through all of life's seasons. She does not rely on a relationship to give her peace, joy, or identity. Instead, she finds those things in her connection with God. She works on strengthening her trust in Him, allowing His wisdom to guide her decisions, including those concerning love and relationships. She also prioritizes emotional growth, healing from past wounds, and developing a healthy mindset. She does not carry baggage from one relationship to the next, nor does she allow past disappointments to define her future. She seeks wisdom, surrounds herself with positive influences, and embraces self-reflection. She understands that emotional maturity allows her to love freely without fear, insecurity, or desperation. She does not put her life on hold while waiting for love to come. Instead, she builds, learns, and grows. She understands that the right person will complement her journey, not complete it. By investing in herself, she ensures that when love does come, she is ready to nurture it from a place of strength, wisdom, and unwavering faith. She knows her worth and refuses to entertain men who are unsure about her. She does not waste time on inconsistency, empty promises, or half-hearted efforts, because she understands that real love requires clarity, commitment, and intention. She does not accept being an option, nor does she tolerate men who come and go as they please. She values consistency, honesty, and effort. And if a man cannot provide these, she is not afraid to walk away. She understands that a man who truly wants to be in her life will make it known through his actions, not just his words. She does not believe in chasing after someone who is distant, unresponsive, or only present when it is convenient. She knows that love should not be confusing, and if a man's behavior leaves her guessing, it is a sign that he is not the one for her. She refuses to settle for lukewarm affection because she desires a love that is intentional and unwavering. She does not hold on to someone out of fear of being alone or hope that they will change. She believes that a man who values her will show it through consistency in his pursuit, communication, and respect. She does not give unlimited chances to someone who repeatedly fails to meet her standards. She expects a man to be sure about her just as she is sure about herself. She moves with confidence, knowing that love should feel secure, not like a roller coaster of uncertainty. She would rather wait for the right man who shows up fully than entertain someone who only gives her fragments of his time and attention. She trusts that the love meant for her will be consistent, intentional, and worthy of the woman she has become. She is not blinded by emotions or desperate for love to the point of ignoring warning signs. She has the wisdom to recognize red flags early and the strength to walk away before they turn into deeper heartache. She does not make excuses for inconsistent behavior, dishonesty, or lack of respect. She understands that love should uplift, not drain. And when she sees signs of toxicity, manipulation, or emotional unavailability, she does not second-guess herself. She leaves. She values her peace too much to stay in a situation that threatens her well-being. She knows that ignoring red flags only leads to regret, so she trusts her intuition and the wisdom that God has given her. She does not try to fix or change someone who is unwilling to grow, because she understands that true transformation comes from within, not from her efforts to mold someone into who she wants them to be. She does not settle for potential when reality is showing her something different. She walks away with grace, without anger, bitterness, or resentment. She does not waste energy on arguments or proving her worth to someone who fails to see it. She does not hold grudges or dwell on what could have been. Instead, she releases situations that are not aligned with her purpose, knowing that every closed door is leading her to something better. She leaves with her dignity intact, understanding that the right relationship will never require her to overlook obvious signs of trouble. She trusts that by letting go of the wrong thing, she is making room for the right thing. She does not allow past disappointments to make her cynical, but instead uses them as lessons to strengthen her discernment. She believes that when she walks away from what does not serve her, she is walking towards something far greater. She does not rush into relationships out of impatience or fear of being alone. She understands that God's best is always worth the wait, and she refuses to settle for something that does not align with His plan for her life. She knows that love should not be forced or pursued in desperation, but instead it should unfold naturally in God's perfect timing. She trusts that the right man, the one meant for her, will come when the time is right, and she is willing to wait rather than compromise her standards for temporary companionship. She does not compare her journey to others, nor does she let societal pressure dictate her decisions. She sees singleness as a season of preparation, a time to grow in faith, purpose, and self-awareness. She understands that waiting does not mean wasting time. It means building herself into the woman God has called her to be. She focuses on becoming whole, knowing that a strong relationship is built between two individuals who are already complete in themselves. She is not swayed by loneliness or impatience because she knows that settling for less than God's best will only lead to heartache. She refuses to entertain relationships that lack intention, commitment, or mutual respect. She would rather wait for a love that is real, steady, and God-ordained than rush into something that is not meant for her. She trusts that God is working behind the scenes, aligning her path with the right person at the right time. She does not waver in her faith, nor does she let doubt cloud her judgment. She knows that true love is not about speed, but about substance. She waits with grace, confidence, and expectation, knowing that when God's best arrives, it will be more than she ever imagined. She understands that her worth is not measured by likes, comments, or followers. She does not seek validation through social media or use superficial means to attract attention. She refuses to shape her identity around an online presence or manipulate her image just to gain approval. She knows that true beauty and value come from within, not from carefully curated photos, captions, or temporary admiration from strangers. She does not post for validation or dress a certain way just to impress. Her confidence is rooted in who she is, not in how many people notice her. She does not feel the need to put on a performance for the world because she is secure in her identity, with or without an audience. She focuses on substance over appearance, choosing to live with authenticity rather than seeking approval through fleeting digital attention. She refuses to compete in the unspoken race for popularity, understanding that true love does not come from artificial attraction. She does not rely on filters or trends to make herself desirable. Instead, she lets her character, faith, and purpose be the things that define her. She is more concerned with the impact she makes in real life than the impression she gives online. She knows that the right man will be drawn to her heart, her values, and her spirit, not just her external appearance or social status. She does not chase attention or crave public validation because she understands that real love is built in private, not performed for an audience. She remains true to herself, focusing on what truly matters, knowing that the right person will appreciate her for who she is, not for how she presents herself to the world. She understands that the people she surrounds herself with have a significant influence on her mindset, choices, and spiritual growth. She does not allow negative or toxic relationships to drain her energy or distract her from her purpose. Instead, she chooses friendships that uplift, encourage, and challenge her to be the best version of herself. She values godly friendships that push her closer to God rather than relationships that lead her away from her faith and values. She seeks wisdom and accountability from those who share her beliefs and encourage her to stay strong in her walk with God. She knows that true friends will speak life into her, remind her of her worth, and support her in making wise decisions, especially when it comes to love and relationships. She does not entertain friendships filled with gossip, drama, or negativity because she understands that the company she keeps affects her heart and mind. She surrounds herself with people who inspire her to grow spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. She values deep, meaningful conversations over shallow connections and chooses friends who genuinely care about her well-being. She appreciates those who hold her accountable, challenge her to keep her standards high, and remind her to trust God's timing. She knows that having the right people in her life strengthens her resolve and helps her navigate challenges with wisdom and grace. She understands that life is not meant to be lived alone, and she cherishes the power of a strong, faith-filled community. She invests in friendships that are built on trust, respect, and shared values. She knows that by keeping godly friends close, she is creating an environment that nurtures her faith, supports her purpose, and keeps her grounded in truth. She embraces her femininity with grace, strength, and confidence, knowing that it is a beautiful part of how God created her. She does not feel the need to prove herself by adopting the world's standards of success or validation. Instead, she walks in the assurance that her identity is rooted in Christ, not in societal expectations or fleeting trends. She understands that true femininity is not about weakness or insecurity, but about carrying herself with dignity, wisdom, and purpose. She does not seek approval from the world to feel valued because she knows that her worth is already established in God. She does not compare herself to others or measure her beauty, achievements, or identity against unrealistic standards. She embraces who she is with joy, knowing that her uniqueness is a reflection of God's intentional design. Her confidence comes from knowing that she is fearfully and wonderfully made, not from external validation. She carries herself with a quiet strength, understanding that femininity is not about superficial beauty, but about the depth of her character. She is gentle yet strong, compassionate yet firm in her convictions. She does not shrink herself to make others comfortable, nor does she seek to dominate in order to prove her strength. She balances grace and confidence, knowing that both are gifts from God. She does not allow the opinions of others to shake her sense of identity. She understands that her value is not defined by relationship status, career, or material possessions, but by her relationship with God. She moves with assurance, knowing that she is a daughter of the King, created with purpose and loved beyond measure. She embraces her femininity not as something to be hidden or changed, but as a divine gift to be expressed with confidence and faith. She carries herself with dignity because she understands that self-respect is the foundation for how others will treat her. She does not tolerate disrespect, dishonesty, or inconsistency because she knows she is worthy of honor and kindness. She sets the standard for how she expects to be treated by the way she treats herself, by valuing her time, guarding her heart, and maintaining high standards in all areas of life. She does not allow people to take advantage of her kindness, nor does she compromise her values for the sake of fitting in. She walks with confidence, knowing that her worth is not dependent on the opinions or validation of others. She respects herself enough to say no when necessary, to walk away from situations that do not serve her, and to prioritize her well-being over temporary approval. She does not beg for love, attention, or respect because she understands that what is meant for her will come willingly and without force. She practices self-respect in her speech, actions, and relationships. She does not entertain gossip, negativity, or toxic environments because she knows that her peace is priceless. She is mindful of the company she keeps, surrounding herself with people who uplift and inspire her rather than drain her energy. She does not engage in relationships that make her feel unworthy or unseen. She expects love, friendships, and connections to be built on mutual respect, honesty, and trust. She understands that self-respect is not arrogance, but a reflection of self-worth. By honoring herself, she naturally attracts people who do the same. She moves through life with grace and confidence, refusing to allow anyone to diminish the value she knows she carries. She stands firm in her identity, knowing that true respect begins with how she treats herself. She knows that a relationship is more than just emotions and attraction. It is about shared values, purpose, and direction. She refuses to settle for a man who does not align with her faith, principles, and vision for life. She understands that love without alignment leads to conflict, and she is intentional about choosing a partner who walks the same path she does. She seeks a relationship that strengthens her spiritually, emotionally, and mentally, rather than one that pulls her away from her identity in Christ. She does not entertain men who are inconsistent in their beliefs, unsure about their future, or unwilling to grow. She desires a partner who is equally committed to God, who leads with integrity, and who understands the importance of building a life together on a foundation of faith. She knows that love is not just about romance, but about two people striving toward a common goal, supporting one another, and growing together in their purpose. She does not allow fleeting emotions to cloud her judgment when it comes to choosing a life partner. She observes a man's actions, his values, and his character before allowing herself to invest deeply. She knows that a strong relationship requires more than surface-level attraction. It requires mutual respect, vision, and spiritual compatibility. She is willing to wait for the right person rather than settle for someone who does not match her heart's desires. She understands that a relationship should complement her calling, not distract her from it. She looks for a partner who encourages her to pursue her dreams, honors her convictions, and walks beside her with purpose. She trusts that God will bring the right person into her life at the right time, someone who is not just a partner in love, but also a partner in faith, growth, and destiny. She understands that real love is built on mutual effort, not one person doing all the work while the other simply receives. She refuses to carry a relationship alone, constantly giving while receiving little in return. She knows that love should be a partnership where both individuals are equally invested, equally committed, and equally willing to nurture and sustain the connection. She does not chase or beg for affection because she believes that love should be freely given, not forced. She recognizes that if she is always the one initiating, always the one compromising, and always the one making sacrifices, then the relationship is unbalanced. She values a love that is reciprocal, where both hearts are fully engaged and both efforts are equally present. She does not settle for inconsistency, breadcrumbs of affection, or someone who only values her when it is convenient. She understands that love requires mutual respect, communication, and intentionality. She expects to be pursued with the same level of effort that she is willing to give. She does not tolerate relationships where she is left feeling unseen, unheard, or undervalued. She believes that love should be steady, not one person constantly reaching while the other barely meets them halfway. She knows that mutual love fosters security, trust, and peace. When both people are equally invested, the relationship thrives in a way that one-sided love never could. She refuses to stay in a relationship where she feels like she is convincing someone to care. She stands firm in the belief that love should be wholehearted, consistent, and mutual, and she trusts that when the right person comes, they will match her energy, her devotion, and her desire to build something real and lasting. A woman of God does not chase, beg, or settle for less than what she deserves. She knows her worth, trusts God's timing, and refuses to compromise her values for temporary attention. She stands firm in her faith, carries herself with confidence, and seeks a relationship built on mutual effort, respect, and shared purpose. She does not waste time on inconsistency, confusion, or half-hearted love. Instead, she waits with grace, knowing that the right man will recognize her value and pursue her with intentionality. Her love life is not driven by fear, desperation, or societal pressure, but by faith in God's perfect plan. She chooses peace over chaos, purpose over distractions, and self-respect over validation. She is not defined by who wants her, but by the unwavering love of the one who created her. And because of that, she walks boldly, knowing that the love meant for her will never require her to chase it away. It will find her in God's perfect time,